This is Scully. Hi, I'm Scully, and I am filming the couch kind of Ashens style with one of the worst cell phone cameras that exists, but I like it. So don't worry about it. I'll switch to the screen capture device when the time comes. Alright, let's take a look at this laptop. Now, it's a Dell. Say what you will. I don't invest in Dell products because they're good. I invest in them because they're cheap. And I think that's true of most people. For what this is, it's fine. Anyway, so yeah, this Dell laptop. I'm gonna start at the bottom. Just to be weird. It was 35 bucks used. And here are the features. On the bottom it has this thing. I'm guessing that it's for hooking it up to some kind of what do you call them? Dock. It's a dock. That's what it is. It's a docking bay 94. And it's got the battery down here that you can remove and stuff. Alright, and this is the front. On the front, it's still upside down. It's got this weird thing. And it doesn't just like pop off or anything. It's just, I don't know why it's there. It extends the surface area slightly. I guess for using the trackpad to make it more comfortable. I don't know. But it doesn't just clip off, you know, it's installed. So I could probably remove it, but why bother? It looks kind of cool. And there's the little tab for opening the lid. This, I don't know what it is, and I don't care because I don't use it. It has your headphones and microphone. It has this. I don't know what this is either, and I don't care because I don't use it. And it's got this little thing for this slot, whatever it is. I don't care. And then it's got one PCMCIA slot. These are good. I have recently learned about these and some good uses for them. When they first came out, they were, I don't know, for like add-on modems and such, but they've evolved and they have some really good modern uses. But this laptop, I don't think I'll ever get one for, because it's pretty much finished. It's almost finished. Okay, this side has your DVD multi, rewrite disc drive. There's the button. And two USB inputs. I don't know if they're 2.0 or they probably are, whatever. And on the back, it's got two more USB, and it has, but that's not what that is. So it's not too useful for me. And this is the power. It has a barrel power plug, which is fine. Alright, let's open it. I cleaned it up really well. It was filthy when I bought it. I use rubbing alcohol, Q-tips, toothpicks. I just clean them up. Get in all the nooks and crannies that I can without taking it apart unless I need to. Yes, there is probably still human filth under the keyboard and such. I'm sure of it because I've taken keyboards apart before and I've witnessed. Anyway, it's not affecting anything. It's clean. It's used. It's, I don't know, it's all scuffed up and faded, and I like that. So yeah, I'm happy with how it turned out. It's got a trackpad with two mouse buttons. I don't like them. I plug in a mouse. I don't like trackpads at all. It also has one of these little finger rubber keyboard mouses with two mouse buttons up here. I don't use it ever, but it's kind of neat to see. And here's your power button up here. And the keyboard is fine. It's not the greatest in the world, and it's not the worst in the world either. The keys are a little small, duh, but they're not tiny. It's kind of big for a laptop or whatever. The screen is rectangular, and that's all I know about it, and I don't care. It came originally with Windows Vista, which I have never owned or used, and it has a horrible reputation. But the seller had upgraded it to Windows 7, and I've never used that either, and I don't care to. I don't want to learn it. I bought it with the intention of, but I learned that and that wasn't going to happen. So I decided, you know what? I'm gonna try a Linux distro, and so I'm gonna show you that, and switch to the screen capture device, so you can have a look at the Linux. And also it came with the power brick thing. I hate these. Since we're talking about Linux, the first thing I did was I dug through my old software. My intent was to put an old Windows operating system on it, which I own a bunch of them in a case of CDs somewhere, just like most people do. So I had 98, I had 95, I had XP. Tried all that, nothing worked, and I found this, which was an old version of Ubuntu. Anyway, and so yeah, we picked this up at like a used bookstore or something like that ages ago. It was free. I was like, well, okay, I'll try that. So I installed this. It did its thing. It installed perfectly. It found all the drivers itself, which is miraculous. And it was a great operating system. Don't do this. The old versions of this operating system are completely unsupported, to the point where you cannot do any. It's a wonderful operating system, and you can't, it's a tremendous shame. Again, if you're a computer expert, go for it. But I am not. It came with a game package, and it had about 12 games pre-installed, and they were a lot of fun, very basic puzzle games and such, solitaire, Tetris. And it would do a lot of home computing if you wanted it for that. What do? Well, luckily, I went to Ubuntu, and I grabbed not the very latest one. This is Ubuntu 2010, and it's an ISO file for free. Anyone can do it. You put it onto a USB stick or an SD card or a compact disc. This is just a DVD-R. It fits on a DVD-R. Well, I didn't really have a program to burn ISO files onto things, but what was lucky was this operating system had that. So I had a disk just with the ISO file. I moved that onto the computer, and with this operating system I was able to burn a DVD-R of not the very latest, but one of the new, still supported Ubuntus. and so that's what's on this computer. Now, I like this one better, but it's completely unsupported. You can't use it for anything, which is a shame, because this one is less impressive to me, A, and B, it's basically the same thing. It's just more of a resource hog. Again, it detected everything. It had all the drivers already. It's basically a brand new computer. These Linux, and this is an old machine. It came with Windows Vista, and it just did everything for me. Just installed everything, and it was good to go. And so that's the story. So the first thing I did was I followed the instructions at the RetroPie homepage, which is why I chose this distro, because RetroPie works perfectly with it. So if you want RetroPie, and you do, then you want either Ubuntu or Mint. And I'm very curious about Mint as well. But since I had put that old version of Ubuntu onto the computer, tried the new Ubuntu, it said, we detected an old version of Ubuntu. Do you want to delete it? And I was like, yes. Oh, okay. So now, you know, this was gold. But I might have to look for another one of these just so I can try Mint. Anyway, so the first thing I did was I went to RetroPie and I followed their instructions. And all you do is you click this applications button. It shows the applications on page 2. This is where it puts everything. You go to utilities, click that, and you click terminal, and all you do is type in the codes that it tells you at the RetroPie website. Just type them in exactly. There's about, I don't know, 8 or 10 or 12 lines of code. You just type it in exactly as it tells you to do, and that's it. When you're done with that, it puts RetroPie on your machine for you, and in your home folder there is a RetroPie folder, and in there is a ROMs folder, and in that ROMs folder, these are just the default systems that it comes with. There's a lot more RetroPie systems that you can add. I haven't done that yet, but this is where you start, and you've got, you know, your Amstrad, CPC, Arcade, Atari 800, Atari 2600, 5200, 7200, Lynx. I don't know what FBA is. Famicom Disk System, Game Gear, Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color. Genesis defaults to Mega Drive. That's why it has that arrow. It just sends them straight to Mega Drive. Some kind of MAME, Master System, Mega Drive, N64, Neo Geo. I could go on, but you know, there's enough to get started for sure. And so you just I already had some ROM collections to get started with, and I went and got some more ROM collections on a different computer, put them on a USB stick, stuck them in here, and put them in the folders. Where do you get ROMs? Well, from watching other people's videos, I get the feeling that we're not supposed to tell each other on YouTube where to get ROMs. I just wish the internet had some kind of archive where you could go and it was like a public domain place and people uploaded things, including ROM collections. And even if it's not actually public domain and people report it and it gets taken down, they just upload it again. So yeah, if only there was some kind of place like that. So yeah, whole collections. And I have to curate them because There are some ROMs that I am not going to be interested in the slightest in playing. There are going to be some ROMs that don't work or don't work so well. There are going to be some ROMs that are doubles because they're in a different language, or there's a lot of curating to be done. Not to mention, when it boils down to ROMs, it's like, yes, you can try and catch them all like they're Pokemon, or you can just get the ones you want. But let me show you what I've done so far, and it's ridiculous. It's just digital hoarding to the extreme. It's so easy, and you can get so many. Okay, I'm switching to the gamepad, and with like Amstrad CPC, just as the first example, 4,222 games available. Now, like I said, it needs to be curated, because some of them on the Amstrad in particular, a lot of these ROMs are on 2 discs or even up to 5 discs depending on the game. Not all of these are going to work. I don't expect that. But anyway, and a lot of them I'm not going to be in the least bit interested in, and I want to just delete, which is very easy to do. So you test them out, and you delete the ones that you don't want. Pretty cool. Oh, and the artwork, let me show you. It's really simple. Main menu, just by pressing the start button. Scraper. This gets the artwork, the box art, for you. You just are connected to the internet, and once you put the ROMs in the folder, open it up, and you got the games database scraper and screen scraper, and it just goes on the internet, and it gets the box art. The 2 different ones, one of them's good for kind of more rare stuff like this, and the other one is better for, you know, the common games like Nintendo and Game Boy, and, you know, the stuff that's everywhere. But yeah, and some of them are missing. You can run the scraper again, and it just goes to the ones that it missed. It doesn't repeat itself over and over. And some of them aren't going to be out there to be found, but it does a pretty good job. And you have all these systems that you can play around with. And I like the classic stuff, and the classic stuff runs just fine. It takes a few moments to load in. It's not instant like a cartridge, but after it loads in, then I honestly haven't noticed any difference. It's really good emulation. So yeah, this is a lot of fun, and so that's just so you can get RetroPie for just about anything nowadays, any kind of device and whatnot. Like the Raspberry Pi. I have a Raspberry Pi Zero, and you can put RetroPie on it just by itself. It's not even in a Linux operating system. It's just by itself on the Raspberry Pi computer, and you can customize it like crazy. I mean, people go nuts with this thing, especially if they're good at computers. And you can, I don't know, change the art, you can change the menus, you can just really make some custom stuff. I mean, people do themed ones like Godzilla or I don't know, Sega Genesis or whatever they're into. You know, a lot of people, they just kind of make them look like the Nintendo Mini or something like that. But other people, you know, do a whole like a Star Wars theme or just whatever they're into, and you can go get those as ISO files and burn them to SD cards, micro SD cards, and pop them in and out of your Raspberry Pi. Mine's a 0, so they have to be made for a 0. But the most popular one is probably the 3, and now the new 4. People are making tons of stuff for it. And you can just pop them in and out like game cartridges and have whole different systems all the time. It's pretty amazing. Okay, there's a bunch of ones that didn't anyway, so yeah, a lot of this stuff is bootleg, and you know, I'm into that. I think it's fun. A lot of this stuff is homebrew. Some of the homebrew is really amazing. A lot of this stuff is hacks. So, you know, you might have Mario running around in Sonic, or different ones. And you can get all that and install all that. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, PC Engine, Neo Pocket Color. So this is all kind of a whole new ball game for me. PC Engine I'm excited about. I like 8-bit games, and these are simple 8-bit games with 16-bit graphics. They look great. And it just goes on and on. SG-1000, you know. This is something very expensive that I would never have, even though they're old games. And I like old games. It never stops. I mean, you could never even play all these, and I have all of them on a laptop. So, you know, I haven't gotten rid of my room full of crap yet, but I'm considering it. Of course, I don't have collections like some of you have collections, but yeah, these really need to be curated, because a lot of this stuff it just doesn't interest me in the least. But it's fun that it's on here to be looked at before I delete it. So anyway, yeah, RetroPie. In addition to RetroPie, Linux itself has a lot of games. Now, it's not known for that. However, I would say that it is known for emulation. A lot of the games that I gravitated to get first time around, I just started downloading games like crazy. Just anything that remotely interested me. I was like, yeah, get that too. Oh, get that one next. Get this one. Until I actually broke it. I don't know what I did, but it started giving me an error message. And at that point, I was like, well, I guess I could go about investigating this and trying to repair it. But I already have RetroPie. So at that point, I considered the machine completed. It's just finished. It's fine. These are more games than I could play in 10 lifetimes. So anyway, but regardless, you know, there's some of these games are not emulated. They were written by programmers for Linux, and I think you know, it'll be fun to make a video now and then showing off some of them that you would not see otherwise on other systems. So that's kind of a bonus as well. This is considered my favorites. It puts all your favorites in a bar over here, and this particular operating system does not use the desktop. You cannot put icons on the desktop, and that, I don't like that. I like all my games across the desktop, and then I never have, if it's a gaming laptop, and then I never have to go into the machine at all unless something goes wrong. But this one doesn't do that, which is not ideal. But I can't complain. I mean, I have never encountered an operating system personally that I felt was perfect or even near perfect. So, you know, you got to take the bad with the good. No one's going to agree on, you know, what an operating system should be. Anyway, so that's my Linux retro gaming laptop. And so I'm going to sync up these videos with me talking and the screensaver and all that garbage, and then I'll come back again and play some of the games.
Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe and stuff like that. Click the buttons that are if you want.
Oh, and go check out Grandad Gamer. It's an excellent show, and I think a lot of the people that, you know, do this kind of thing as like their main deal. I mean, this is something I do, but I've got my hand in a lot of different things. I got a bunch of different hobbies, and I can't focus on one thing because I like a lot of different stuff. But, you know, if you're doing this, like the game room, that's your show. This guy, his show is awesome. I mean, it's a lot of fun. So he's got the game room, and he does the games, and he's a very entertaining person. You know, a lot of people are like happy, and he's more kind of like grouchy, and I like that. I think it's really a lot of fun. So check it out, and on top of that, what I really like is that he'll also record watching TV, and then he'll put little clips just unexpectedly here and there, and they're funny. I mean, he selects really funny, entertaining things as kind of a little bonus to show. Anyway, great channel. Check it out. Alright, thanks a lot.